Emma. Today I have a book review on Winter Ghosts by Kate Mosse. So this is a book about a guy named Freddie. He's kind of plagued with the death of his brother in the First World War, so he's never really gotten over it, and so he's recounting his story to this man at the beginning of the book about how he came across this little French village in the south of France during a snowstorm in 1928, and he meets this girl there who's just kind of mysterious. So he kind of figures out what's going on with the town and what happened there, and at the same time he's kind of getting over his brother's death finally. So that's what the story's about. So Kate Mosse, if you don't know, she's the author of another series that's pretty well known. It's Labyrinth, and also Sepulchre I think is the second book. So Labyrinth, Sepulchre, and Citadel. I read the first two like ages ago, and I remember I liked them. So I went into this book thinking, oh, like a wintry ghost story, that'll be really cool. And I also read last year, I read her collection of short stories, The Mistletoe Bride and Other Haunting Tales. That's what it's called. Yeah, I read that last Christmas, and I really liked that one. So I thought, oh, like this will be kind of something similar, like a creepy ghost story, except it's a novel this time. It's not a short story. So I was like, oh, this will be good. But I had so many problems with it. Yeah, it was really disappointing knowing that it was Kate Mosse who wrote it, and I already read her other books, which I liked. So yeah, it was pretty underwhelming. So one thing I liked was I really liked the setting. It's set in like this wintry kind of village in the south of France, in between all these mountains, and there's all these trees and stuff, and there's a snowstorm. It's kind of cold and snowy out, and you know, I like the setting a lot. It just reminds me of like being inside in the winter with the fire on, and it's all warm out and you don't want to go outside. So that was one thing I liked. And then I also liked her writing style was really good. I remember her other stories was really well written, but that's pretty much where the good stuff stops. Like beyond that there wasn't much else. So I'll go into some of the things I didn't like. So yeah, going with the writing, I mean it was good writing, but I found it to be like really overly fancy, and like there were so many metaphors and like similes. It was just ridiculous. I think metaphors should be used lightly, because it's a lot to keep continuously imagining what like the comparison is supposed to be. Like there's so many flowery like comparisons in here. Like every single page there was like at least a few metaphors or similes or something. It was kind of ridiculous. So that was one thing. I mean, that wasn't really a huge issue, but that was just one little thing that kind of bothered me a bit. The story itself was super dragged out. I mean, this did not need to be a novel. It could have been easily just a long short story. For the first half of the book, I was kind of wondering like, okay, what the hell's going on? Like there's kind of a mystery element, so I was wondering, trying to figure out like what was going on. I kept waiting for something to happen, and when it finally did happen, like halfway through the book, there's one line that this one character says, and as soon as they say it, I knew instantly what the plot was. Like I knew exactly what was happening. I figured it out like right away. I was like, oh, that's what's going on. So then I thought, okay, well this will be cool, like when he figures it out and when deals with it. After that, for the last half of the book, the character, Freddie, it takes him forever to figure out what is going on, because I already knew what was going on, so I kind of already knew how it was going to end. But it took him forever to get there, the main character, so by the time he got there to the end, and it was exactly how I thought it was going to go. So it wasn't a surprise for me, it wasn't exciting anymore, because after that one line that character says, I was like, oh, I know exactly what's going on now. And yeah, it was just really dragged out. Like, and it even says in here somewhere at the back, there's an earlier version of the story was published as a novella, written for the 2009 Quick Reads. So this initially wasn't a novella, like, you know, back in 2009, and I think it should have stayed that way because it was not a big enough story to make into a book. This could have easily have been a nice little, just kept it as a novella, or just, you know, put it in with a collection of short stories, but it did not need to be a novel. Like this was super drawn out for a novel, and nothing really happened. That really bugged me. But I do really like the cover though. Yeah, the cover was it's really nice. Really shiny. So yeah, I have 2 out of 5 for Kate Mosse's Winter Ghosts. Kind of a disappointing rating, but I liked the historical aspect, I liked the war aspect, I liked the wintry setting, and I liked the mystery, and I liked the ghost story up until I figured out everything, and then it was just super boring after that. And like I said, did not need to be stretched into a novel. easily could have been just a little novella, would have been perfectly fine. But yeah, so that's it. Thanks for watching.